Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where the God particle isn't in your mind. It's in your flex spot, and it's a kicker. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined today by Denny Carter. And Denny, I hear you want to get us started with the news that Justin Fields spilled some hot coffee on himself, then spilled a larger, hotter cup of coffee on himself again 2 days later. Just take the folks through that.
He should watch his coffee or drink cold coffee. I think iced coffee. Yeah. So here's what Justin Fields said after the Bears' humiliating Sunday night loss to the Packers, in which they threw 11 passes somehow. He said, quote, "Yeah, it hurts more in this locker room than the Bears fans. At the end of the day, they aren't putting in any work. I see the guys in the locker room every day. I see how much work they put in coming out of a disappointing loss like this. It really hurts." Now, some would say that a player should not say that about his fan base. I say it's accurate. So I have no issue. I have no issue with this. Justin Fields spoke the truth, and then he apologized for it, which he should not have. I'm sorry. You should have stuck with it, Justin.
No, Justin actually is hitting on one of the universal non-truths of sports fandom, and that it's harder to be an athlete than a fan, where they put in the work. Like, we only wish we were putting in the work. We are putting in the suffering. We put in the suffering, and then they're getting paid for it. Imagine how much better being a Chicago Bears fan would be if you got paid for it. Where you want Jay Cutler. I mean, this is an organization that got together, like had probably like a retreat in like Jackson Hole or maybe Zurich or something, and then decided that Mitchell Trubisky would be the future of the franchise. And you think that the players are taking it harder than the fans? And I think a truism, especially with the Bears, is that the players put in the work, the fans put in the suffering. You get paid for work. Last time I checked, you don't get paid for suffering.
Usually you do. I have to say, though, that maybe fans should hear Justin Fields' comments and do some self-reflection and say, I don't put in any work. Why am I doing this to myself? Like, what's the upside here? Especially if you're rooting for a down bad, literally hopeless franchise like the Chicago Bears. The Bears are going to be in rebuilding mode for at least the next 5 years. Okay. They don't have their franchise quarterback. They don't have franchise anything right now. And so he's saying, yeah, we're frustrated because we actually try and fans have nothing to do with that. Yeah. This is why I don't understand being a fan. Why is anyone?
No, Denny was saying you're just wrong again, where sports fandom would completely collapse if self-reflection were required. I mean, could you imagine sports fandom if self-reflection were a prerequisite? I mean, sports would be like, they would be a joint press conference between Rob Manfred, Roger Goodell, Adam Silver, Gary Bettman. Just like, we got to shut it down.
Yeah.
It's not working anymore.
Look, I used to be
fans have gained perspective, and it's over.
I used to live and die with the 90s and early 2000s Miami Dolphins. Sure. I understand. I get your pain, okay? I'm like Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. The Dolphins made me cry, okay? I get that. I reflected, and I said, why am I doing this? This is torture.
Well, you may have also self-reflected when you looked at a map and saw that Maryland is nowhere near Miami, Florida. Would you like to explain that?
I don't understand rooting for home teams at all.
Curious. Oh, no. That's another thing. That's like one of the only good part about sports. It gets assigned to you at birth, and then you can't pick and choose. I actually like that it has to be like a scarlet letter. Sure, some of us get assigned the St. Louis Cardinals and actually win sporting events. And sure, some of us just gets the Pittsburgh Pirates and have never seen a winning ball game in their entire life. But I actually do think it's one of the only good things about fandom is riding or dying.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Denny, in other news, former New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton was interviewed by New Orleans football's Nick Underhill and Mike Triplett, and he basically ended the interview by signing his 2023 Dallas Cowboys contract live on air. Like, he was kind of just taking Mike and Nick through the finer points. He kind of laughed. He leaned in. Yeah, here's where it says I can't ride a scooter. Like, I haven't ridden a scooter in 20 years. And here's my Super Bowl bonus for 2025 or whatever. He basically moved into Mike McCarthy's office during this interview. And just, what are your thoughts? And if you're Mike McCarthy, how do you spend the rest of this season coping, knowing that on January 10th or whatever, Sean Payton is moving into your office?
You're going to need the copium, all the copium, if you're Mike McCarthy, and really anybody associated with Mike McCarthy at this point. It's over. It's just a matter of when. And honestly, it would be less painful if they just pulled the Band-Aid off like before Thanksgiving, like just get this thing done. Okay. This season's lost. The thing is, the Cowboy season was lost before the first snap in week 1. Okay. So it has nothing to do with Dak Prescott's injury. And Sean Payton said, by the way, I'm interested in the right situation, which is not news. He's been saying this, and people around him have been saying this since literally 8 milliseconds after he left the Saints. Okay. It could be the Chargers, maybe.
He's been going on Fox NFL Sunday and getting the camera to ISO on him and saying, I'm interested in the right Dallas Cowboys situation.
Yeah. So it's a secret to no one. It's happening. And if you're Mike McCarthy, you might as well just accept it.
You might as well just accept it. And how down bad are you when your life was better, when it was just Dan Quinn who was taking your job? Like, well, at least it's Dan Quinn and he'll fail immediately. Right. So like Mike McCarthy already knew like in March that his job was gone. Where Jerry Jones is openly talking about, just like anyone who would listen, he would go on the radio like, yeah, I wish Kellen Moore could be the coach.
Right.
I wish Dan Quinn could be the coach. And like Mike McCarthy is like quite literally sitting right next to him. It's like a joint interview to promote like Cowboys training camp coming up in Oxnard, California. And it's like, all these other guys I wish could coach the team.
Can we talk about Mike McCarthy after getting the job by saying, by the way, I got a Pro Football Focus subscription?
I know.
And then like 6 months later, he was like, wink, wink. I still don't know anything about analytics.
I know. I don't even know. It didn't even sound like he actually paid for a PFF subscription. It sounded like he did one of those free Football Outsiders ones where you don't get like the really advanced stats. Or just like allows you to like log into the site. And he like looked at like snap rate and thought that was analytics. Like, wow, Zeke's snap rate was really low last year. We got to get that up. I've been told this is analytics.
Well, Pat, in other news, Galaxy Brain news, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, according to Lions beat writer Dave Burkett, is, quote, a straight killer. And here's why. It's true, though. St. Brown said he spent part of last week's game versus Washington looking for Dyami Brown, who I believe he trained with in 2020 before the draft. Quote, I didn't see him in the game that much, which is just really cold. Also, obviously, Dyami Brown was drafted before Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown has tattooed the names of every receiver taken before him in that draft and is crossing them off one after the other. It's not as deadly as it sounds. He's saying, I'm better than this guy and this guy and this guy. Yeah. And so he will not forget, this guy is driven. Amon-Ra St. Brown is driven by spite and hatred, unlike any player in modern NFL history.
Yeah. So there's, the phrase, the internet phrase, he caught a stray, meaning like someone's like kind of like in a spiel on something else. And then for absolutely no reason whatsoever, they gratuitously like, like hammer someone else, like just get in a jab for no reason. This wasn't so much Amon-Ra St. Brown like sending a stray Dyami Brown's way as it was driving like a Buick Continental over him for like for just again absolutely no reason whatsoever. He's talking about his season. It's like, yeah, this guy on the other team sucks. And
Dyami Brown hasn't seen the field all year.
The press is just sitting there kind of stunned. He's like, yeah, this totally random guy on the team we just played, he's real bad.
Oh man.
So like, wow, that's great to hear, Amon-Ra, but and what about the game on Sunday? And you go, Denny.
Well, I feel like we have, this isn't just the rank situation because Amon-Ra St. Brown will never rest.
No,
never. Okay. Like last week, he had an amazing game. He will not rest this week. Okay. He will not lean back and say, you know what? I had a great week 2 game. Good. He will never rest. He is out to prove everyone. It's a Michael Jordan mindset at this point for him.
He will never rest. And by the way, I'm glad you brought up Amon-Ra St. Brown, because when I think of topics for Galaxy Brains, they're literally the first thing I think of. I wonder if like Dan Campbell said anything this week. And this is the next best thing to Dan Campbell. And Denny, we end our show today with a thus far scoreless Leonard Fournette pledging to his fantasy managers on Monday that touchdowns will be, quote, coming soon. Denny, my question to you is, will this happen? Can we get this bill through both houses of Congress in these polarized times, say before Sunday against the Green Bay Packers, who have looked kind of soft against the run? And just, will this happen? What other things should Leonard Fournette be pledging? So on and so forth.
There are some centrist holdouts so far on that legislation where we have to look into that. But I think that he's onto something, because here's the thing. Bucks are down bad. And Bucks are using a third or fourth string offensive lineman for their left tackle at this point. Okay. They're going to be running the ball a lot. And I'm guessing when they get near the end zone paint, they're going to be giving it to Lenny over and over and over. So I think that he will come through on this pledge. If
he doesn't come through, it's going to become a Sean Payton situation with Rashad White, where Rashad White is kind of like awkwardly is there Monday morning. A few team officials are like, Leonard, he's taking your locker. Sorry. You pledged to score touchdowns. The fantasy community has spoken. They are upset. You are canceled. It is now Rashad White season.
It happens.
And I'm upset because this show is canceled. It's terminated. It's over. Galaxy Brains will live to fight another day. But for Denny, I'm Pat. Thank you for joining us and expanding your mind.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.